If you touch my son, I'll kill you.
You want your son? Come and get him.
I don't actually identify as a woman these days.
What do you identify as?
Kind of like a Adam Driver or a Ryan Gosling.
France's legendary gentleman thief is back. We discover some humour in dark places, in Feel Good, and Monte Carlo hosts its annual TV festival. That's all coming up in today's show. And for the best of the small screen this month, Yena Lee joins me in the studio. Hi, Yena. Now, we're starting with Netflix hit Lupin, or Lupin, as one would say in English. It's back with a second season. Tell us more about this French show that's been a massive international success.
Well, according to Netflix, 76 million households worldwide watched Lupin in its first month. And if you don't live in one of them, let me give you a quick summary of the show. French actor Omar Sy plays Arsène Diop, a man seeking justice for his father, who took his own life in prison after being wrongly accused of theft. He's a huge fan of Arsène Lupin, a fictional character from Maurice Leblanc's 20th century novels, who is a gentleman thief and a master of disguise. Diop lives by the motto, what would Arsène Lupin do, as he tries to avenge his father's death with impressive getaways, silly disguises, and thrilling car chases. Part 2 starts off right where we left Part 1, when a henchman who works for Diop's arch enemy kidnaps his son. Take a look at the trailer.
We're gonna use this kid as bait. They'll come right to us.
Listen, I know this guy, and he's not going to give up. I'll make him pay for this.
And as we said when we covered this in the first season, this is a remake of a popular book series of Arsène Lupin.
Exactly. It's a very fresh take on the original Arsène Lupin tales with a bit of Robin Hood and a bit of Sherlock Holmes. It's a classic story of the good and the bad, the unfair and the fair. As the show is set in contemporary France, though, it includes racism as one of those big evils. Omar Sy's character Arsène Diop actually uses people's disdain and ignorance to his advantage, a lot of that in season 1. For example, he dresses as a cleaner or as a delivery biker to make his great escapes, knowing full well that those looking for him won't be able to distinguish one working class black man from another. There's a lot less of that in season 2 because Diop becomes France's most wanted person, but there are still lots of references to discrimination Diop faced as a kid and now faces as a man. France 24's Nina Masson actually interviewed lead actor Omar Sy. Here's what he had to say about this.
On va dire les puissants ne gardent pas on va dire le niveau social d'en dessous et il en profite lui pour être invisible et faire ce qu'il a à faire. Je trouve ça assez malin.
So we can say that this is an action-packed thriller with a bit of social commentary as well. You know, do you think it's worth the hype?
Well, Omar Sy is brilliant as Arsène Diop. He's charming, he's funny, and he can deliver very corny lines convincingly. The social commentary part isn't actually very political. It stays very much on the surface of racism is bad, but at least it's there. I was, though, a lot less impressed by the supporting cast. And on top of that, I don't think that the plot always added up. It didn't always make sense. And I'm not saying that everything has to make sense in an action show like this, but it does become a problem when it becomes really noticeable. The lines are extremely predictable. The music is straight from the 90s. That said, I still binged every episode because I wanted to watch Omar Sy save the day.
Okay, a mixed bag there then. Well, next to another Netflix show that's coming back for a second season, comedian Mae Martin is the co-creator of a semi-autobiographical series called Feel Good. What's this all about?
Well, Feel Good is a queer love story that also talks about trauma, addiction, and family. Mae Martin plays the main character, a stand-up comedian called Mae, a recovering addict who most likely has PTSD. She's also trying to navigate her relationship with George, who before her only dated men. If season 1 focused mainly on their relationship and its ups and downs, season 2 goes a step further. Writers really fleshed out several of the supporting characters, and we delve deeper into the issues that make the show feel more or less good, namely the root of Mae's trauma.
So it sounds like it covers some pretty deep subjects there. It could get a bit depressing?
Not at all, according to me anyway. Co-creators Mae Martin and Joe Hampson really steer away from easy misery. Instead, Feel Good approaches trauma and addiction with a kind of empathy that's rarely seen on television. Even lots of humour that's very thoughtfully placed. It has plenty of funny moments and is an absolute delight to watch. Take a look for yourself.
Look ahead. Leave all that toxic shit in the past.
I don't want to die in Canada.
Oh my God.
Oh my God.
You guys are a lot.
We have an intimate relationship, which means we do a lot of righteous snarshing.
Oh my.
I wish I could just start fresh, but I just keep replaying the past.
You have a career, you got a girl who loves you. Don't throw all that away.
So I spotted some familiar faces there. What do you make of the cast?
Well, Lisa Kudrow is perhaps the most famous cast member, and she almost steals the show, playing Mae's mother. She's an oddball, she's very cold but caring, and she's navigating her role as a parent of a recovering addict. Charlotte Ritchie, who plays George, is very, very convincing. She also has quite a few memorable punchlines in season 2. Last but definitely not least, Mae Martin's deadpan deliveries, her candid expressions are also fantastic. The non-binary actor addresses many intimate issues in thoughtful ways. The latest season notably hints at her character exploring her gender identity.
Okay, sounds fascinating. And it does bring us to another TV show made by a comedian. It's only in French, actually, here in France, but you say it's well worth watching.
Absolutely. Océan's a documentary on trans identity made by a French actor of the same name. Season 1 followed his transition. Season 2 was shot 2 years later. The 12-part series explores what life is like for Océan now that he's not visibly transgender. In each episode, he meets other trans people, non-binary or intersex friends to discuss topics such as Black Lives Matter or ableism. It's a much-needed documentary that will make you challenge heteronormative, cisnormative and patriarchal narratives. The episodes are under 21 minutes long and they're available on the France TV/website.
Definitely one to check out for those of us who speak or understand French. Now next, moving from screens to real-life events, the 60th edition of the Monte Carlo Television Festival.
Yes, 60 is a big one and it's one to celebrate. And it was actually supposed to happen last year, but because of COVID-19, it was pushed back to this year. It showcases some of the best of the small screen with participants vying for prizes such as Best TV Film, Best Series, Best Actor, Best News Report, and many more. It's quite a Western-centric event, I have to say, with most submissions coming from Europe and the US. Some of the shows that have won fiction awards in the past have been Casa de Papel, The End of the Effing World, and Gomorrah. There have also been a few memorable news reports that were showcased there, such as the Libya slave auction story by CNN, which won a nymph in 2018.
Indeed, the prizes are called Golden Nymphs there, not Golden Palms, as you would have at the Cannes Film Festival. What are some of the shows in running for that this year?
Channel 4 and HBO series on the AIDS crisis, It's a Sin, is definitely one to keep an eye out for. It had rave reviews all round and it should be a front runner. There's also Made for Love, a dark US comedy about a woman on the run from her billionaire husband who implanted a tracking device in her brain. Spanish legal thriller Anna All In is about a woman fighting to clear her brother's name. That too could pique some interest among the jury.
Well, France 24's Jeannie Godula is in Monaco at that festival and she sent us this preview.
The TV festival first kicked off in 1961 when it was created by Monaco's then ruler, Prince Renier, for his wife, the actress and Hollywood star Grace Kelly. Since then, there have been 60 years of glamour and competition in both the fiction and news divisions to win the famous Golden Nymphs. Past editions have seen the likes of Michael Douglas, Patricia Arquette, Helen Mirren, and the stars from dozens of different TV shows, including This Is Us, Grey's Anatomy, or Money Heist. Now, the 60th edition was meant to be held last year, but it was canceled due to the pandemic. So the anniversary edition got pushed to this year. But given the travel situation, there are a lot more Europeans instead of Americans. There are a few international names in Monaco this year. American writer and producer Darren Star is getting an honorary award for his career from Monaco's current ruler, Prince Albert. Darren Star, of course, is the man behind such iconic shows as Beverly Hills 90210, Melrose Place, Younger, Sex and the City, and now Emily in Paris. Season 2 of that show is shooting in France at the moment. That's why Darren Star was able to come. Some of the show's actors will be here as well, including Ashley Park, who plays Mindy, and Luca Bravo, who plays that very sexy French chef, Gabrielle. The festival is opening with a world premiere. This is of a South African series called Reka. Among the stars of that show, British actor Ian Glenn. Now, you might know him from his roles in Downton Abbey or as Sir Jorah Mormont in Game of Thrones. Take a look at his new show, Reka, that's being shown in a world premiere in Monaco.
He was angry. A woman was crying. He hit her.
This man's a hunter. He has the ability to lure young women into an unknown environment.
You've questioned the Tyrones. They have motive to scare the Msomi of their land.
Yes, the Tyrone crash on Tagat. The Salvaz, Papat.
She needs to focus on her daughter. I know she's back for Spielman.
The Monte Carlo Television Festival runs from June 18th until June 22nd, so Olivia, do check it out.
I will indeed follow what's going on there. Now, finally, Yena, your recommendation for the last series of the month is the much-awaited return of the animated feature Rick and Morty.
Yes, so Rick and Morty is the completely deranged story of narcissistic, manipulating, mad scientist grandfather Rick and his 14-year-old grandson Morty, who is constantly treated like the former's errand boy as the two travel through different dimensions on various missions. The stories are interlaced with domestic moments, often on Earth, with Morty's teenage sister Summer and his squabbling parents. None of it makes sense, yet all of it makes sense when you watch it, as the stories are rooted in very clever writing and creative visuals. Dan Harmon of Community and Justin Roiland of Adventure Time have birthed a show with a cult following. The fandom, though, it must be said, is a bit eclectic, with some understanding Rick to be the anti-hero he is, while others adulate the character for his toxic traits. If the trailer is anything to go by, Season 5 is set to give Morty some more agency, and I, for one, can't wait to see him stand up for himself.
Okay, sounds like definitely a cartoon for grown-ups, that one. Thank you very much for that wrap-up of what's on TV this month, Yena. We'll leave you with some laughs, courtesy of Rick and Morty. Remember, there's our website, Twitter and Instagram to keep up with our news, and there's more news coming up on France 24 just after this.
Where are we ziplining through futuristic metallic tunnels to?
Hunt me! Somebody hunt me!
Don't hunt us to completion.
Well, I vote. No voting, no debate. It's not a democracy. It's a Rick public. You're in or you're out.
Obviously, I'm in. I never said I wasn't in.
Me neither.
Why is this happening to me?
For the future!
Grandpa! Big Grandpa, what do I do? We can work this out! Just stop trying to kill each other!